jump into this Zelda music. Go. All right, there we go. And now we go here. And if anybody's wondering what they're looking at, you can see here that we're doing Zelda fan art. Live streaming the whole process from sketch to completion in a kind of concept art style that I've been developing as we go. And it's been a fun, educational, sometimes we laugh, sometimes we cry, and overall been a big rewarding experience for me, and I hope for my dozens of viewers. Interestingly, I take all the VODs from Twitch and I do upload them to YouTube, for archival purposes and all that, to make sure that our hard work doesn't just get evaporated accidentally. Everything's downloaded as well, so there's no chance of any serious issues, but mostly the VODs on YouTube also go unnoticed. But in just the past week, there's been some traction. I can't tell exactly how many, but it feels like 2 or 3 people have found it elucidating to watch. Well, they haven't watched everything, but they've started watching from the very beginning and are making their way through things and actually watching things, which is pretty cool. All right, so this is the one we haven't finished yet, so let's pick it up. It's a late Thursday night. It doesn't matter what's going on. I had work today, but not tomorrow. Tomorrow will be a fun day. Okay, let's look at this. So no sooner did I swear off complex pieces than I have decided to pursue this piece. This is the final boss of super complex pieces. Dear Lord. It's going to be rough, but we got to do it. But we have our formula. We have our way forward. A little bit of time and persistence will get it to a finish. All right, so let's get reacquainted. This is the original thumbnail. Moblin Madness. That's the tentative title of this piece. Meant to sort of it's almost to send up to some tribalistic tropes of the won't even get into it. Some of it's a little Looney Tunes, but I like some of what's going on here. The way I'm seeing it finished, perhaps a little bit different. The light source being there, though, is pretty good. Maybe it should just have that nice glow from the back. In any case, I was wondering if either it would be, whether it made more sense to have like a beam of light coming straight down. However, that kind of dappled light look looks kind of incredible. I wonder if I can get away with that. It's funny to revisit this. The sober mind. We're attempting a dry January in this household, repudiating the effect of drink, and Made it a whole... Has it been a whole 24 hours? I don't know. I feel it's strong, though. Strong right now. Okay, so... Same old process. Adding just a little bit of light overall. And then some blue. Basically the same amount of blue. And this is going to be interesting. First off, let's make sure we like the feel of our brush. Feels okay. Essentially, we're thinking about light. Where is this light coming? Let me zoom in a little bit. I know that some of us can barely see what's happening here. But we don't overdo it. Not right out the gate. But essentially, if there is light... Oh, there's so many challenges here. Because some of these sticks are pointed away from camera. And they're going to catch a lot of the blue light, I think. I think that's right. Some of these sticks are pointed towards-ish to camera. And they're only going to get a little. Maybe in certain areas. Just doing this bridge itself is going to take forever. So what I will probably do is I have more. I actually have more than one project I can do on this stream, and I'm going to start tomorrow morning, I think. I have a wine-based commission, essentially. There is my good friend from high school, whom we need to have these pixels locked off, sir. My good friend from high school, for whom I would do anything, has inquired if I would draw a sort of artistic tribute to his D&D group now that they were finishing up their campaign. And of course I said yes, and I will. Oh, that's too close to the edge. It might go like that. Okay. As long as it's close, it's going to be fine. Anyway, the D&D group, they've kind of managed to do some cool things where they've created little stand-ins for these. Jesus Christ. Hell. They used I guess it's an app or a free program called Hero Forge. And so they were able to make little references for their characters. Little 3D, I guess they've even probably printed them out or whatever. I know my friend has a 3D printer. Wouldn't be surprised if he did some of that. I know he's into painting Warhammer figures. He's actually fairly talented artist himself, although he can't draw, which is, or he's a talented painter. The technical craft of painting is not a mystery to him. Very much a artistic hobbyist, but yeah, never was good or interested necessarily in drawing. got these handy references, and I'm like, cool, you guys have done all the hard work. Character designs are clear. So now it's just a matter of finding a composition and working at it. And I was trying to think about what would make a cool composition. And because I had the benefit of time, I didn't rush it. You know, I let it incubate in my brain while I've been doing everything else. And what I alighted on was, I think, an inspired solution, because I wanted to do, you know, a cool piece, but also, like, how can I maxify this situation? And I'm like, okay, well, I can then, like, I have to make it awesome. Yo, good evening. Hey, Sextra. I'm chatting a little bit about myself about, I'm usually another stream at this time. You can hop back and forth. Right now I'm chatting to myself about my brilliant idea to create a composition for my friend's D&D group, but it is going, how long? I'll probably go for a, if I was a lady, my name would be Maxine. Yeah, most likely. I'll go probably till midnight. But no worries, this is a, it will take, like, probably 6 months to finish this piece. So, you know, there won't be anything exciting here. If they want to raid, it's cool. I'm not sure if the work is their cup of tea. But I was just saying that I'm going to create a D&D commission for my friend. I'm going to do it in the style of a movie poster. Half an hour. No problem. Yeah, don't worry about it. So, kind of like the Lord of the Rings. I don't even need to pull up a reference. We all know what the Lord of the Rings movie posters look like. Or even, like, if you can think of like the Excalibur movie posters. Or you know what it probably would look like. This is good. I don't like to reference things. So I'm not going to look it up. But the movie Willow has that sort of vibe. Talking about the original movie with, you know, the Lucasfilm sword and sorcery send-up. But after I get a compositional sketch, I'll probably peek into that. The reason I don't like to look at references, well, where I need them to match, I do want to look at references. So I do want references of their characters, because I want to know what they look like and I want to make them match, you know. But I don't want, where I need to invent things or want to invent things, I don't want to look at references. And that's a little bit, it's a lot different than most people do, because they're like, okay, well, I need to look at these references. But if I look at a reference, it's going to absolutely inject itself into my brain. And then it'll be the freshest thing that's relevant to the subject matter. And the problem with that is it's going to stick. It's going to stick like glue in my head as the solution. And I don't want the solution to be, I'm not trying to look at the back of the textbook and find the answer. I want to come up with something original if I can. So I don't want to, if I'm going to create an original dragon design, for instance, then I'm going to sketch it first. So just get down something that I think is like a max solution. And as long as it's rough, that's good enough. And then I can go and like check my work afterward, right? And that is, I feel, a more honest way, personally honest way of saying, yeah, I came up with that, right? That will be the distracting side piece for the. How was my New Year's? It was good. It was good. New New Year's is an especially peril-laden holiday for me. It is my wife's birthday on New Year's Day. So not only is it a party, but it's a party. it's a important day, and then it's also like the most important day. It is a night stream, yeah. Welcome. I had a decent day. I was booked today, and for a client that I hadn't been booked with, a very important client that hadn't booked me in a long time. So it was sort of fortuitous that not only, so they booked me like the last available day last year and the first available day this year. And I don't know, but I don't think that's a bad thing. I will neither brag nor complain, but I will, if that is a good sign, I will be glad for it. I can't blame them for booking me, but I had all but given up hope that they would call ever again, because I mean, in some respects, they must have replaced me in some ways to have gone so long without using me on something. Got a resolution? Yes, I do. Health is at the forefront of my mind this year, and I want to make that resolution a little bit important before, like, you know, people, oftentimes I think we make these resolutions too late. Like I had a heart attack, so then I got, no, I haven't had a heart attack, but like, say, for instance, someone who has a serious medical event and then decides to get healthy. It's like, okay, it's a little too late, bro. If possible, I'd like to, for the sake of myself and my family, start taking it a little more seriously. And I don't think that shouldn't necessarily be too hard, but it'll require a departure from a lot of my usual habits, which are, you know, doing a lot of drinking, for instance. And honestly, if I literally just cut that out or reduce it by 80%, 75%, I mean, any reduction is going to be a good. No, I did not have a heart attack. I did not. But that stuff runs in my family, so I shouldn't. I was like, why not herb? Oh, I used to be a pothead. I got out of the habit and then never picked it up again. It became one of those. It became one of those things that, like, eventually my parents started buying THC gummies, and I was just realizing, I was like, all right, this stuff is so mainstream now. It's not. I don't even know if it's fun, or, you know, sometimes I do stuff just because I'm in the habit of it, and it's like, is that a good reason to do something? I don't know. Like I should be able to come up with better solutions to my boredom. Yeah, the ADHD life is true. It's a hard knock life sometimes. The ADHD life. And what's interesting is, like, I have now, and I think it's in part due to the stream, I have solutions now for my, like, oh, I'm not booked today? Good, I'll do a stream. It used to be if I wasn't booked, it would just be like, okay, I'm useless, no one wants me, you know, my career is ending. I couldn't stand the company of myself, so I would Today I drank matcha and I was productive almost all day. Yeah. Well, if you're anything like me, you'll try to do that again and it'll help, but then it won't have the same effect. And then like the third time you do it, you'll just be like, okay, this is normal now. And I think that's like an issue for me, is that my tolerances build up too quickly. I don't know. Or like I would drink, but it would take so much longer over time for me to have any effect of it. So it'd be something where it's like, okay, well now I have to start early. And I'm like, why am I even doing this? I'm not that stressed out, you know? Things are a little more stable. Some things are less stable, but some things are more stable. I thought last year would be like my worst year ever for, you know, business-wise. And it was not a great year, but it wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. Like, I tallied it all up. I did okay. You know, better than I did the year before, in fact. And I'm like, okay, you know, AI might take my job one day, but hasn't yet. Need to hang in there. Hang in there for the sake of... Need to hang in there for revenge. Let's see here. But damn, either I use it daily and it kind of works. I wait a week and I'm useless all week. Okay, wait a second. Max, you're a dude I'd like to share a table of blackjack with. Tell me your stories while I lose $100. That's funny. From time to time, I host a poker night, which is a good time. I'm really bad at poker, but I'm told it's a fun party. Let's see. Beta. What is Red Sky? That one's super productive. What is that? Always root for artists. We are innovators. Oh, like if AI cancels me or something like that. Yeah, no, I can. I don't know what Red Sky is, but it sounds cool. I'm definitely. It was interesting. I'll tell you something. Oh, replying to Sky. Okay. Always bet on red. Oh yeah. Isn't that that's roulette, right? Yeah. Wait, always bet on black. That's what they say? Okay, so the today I had this was a sort of a mental dilemma where I had the ear of my my former best clients. And I mean, like, these people used to book me solid for a month or two at a time. Big client of mine. My most regular client for 7 years. Probably 75 to 80% of my business at its peak, at its maximum. And so not a client I replaced easily. Today I had the ears and attention of the founders and the important head directors, frankly the owners of the company. And I was like, I was thinking to myself, I'm like, should I show them the cool Zelda stuff I'm working? Like, they put together their, they use concept artists from time to time, like, in fact, frankly, often, and or they used to. Nowadays, I know for a fact that they heavily rely on AI, and I don't. I won't speak ill of them as clients for business decisions that I might disagree with. We make our compromises where it makes sense, I guess. It has no effect on my thought of them as people or friends, but I think they've. If I were to bet a hunch. I would bet that they had replaced me as a go-to creative artist sort of solution in many or most cases with AI. I feel like that kind of that helped to the helped in the whole replacement of Max kind of situation. It just is what it is. I don't have any direct evidence of that happening, and they used me today to create sort of concept boards, and I was happy enough with that, and everything was good. I thought to myself, I was like, should I show them some of the Zelda stuff that I was working on? I was like, well, because they'd be impressed by that, and it could be something where it's like we could be something that increases their usefulness, or where they see me as more useful. And I turned it over a lot, and I was thinking, I was like, it's a little bit of a push to do this, but maybe I should. And then I stopped myself, and I remembered that I'm actually looking to, in a long way, not a short way, but in a long way, completely exit this sort of reliance that I have on these clients. Yes, they are the former best clients of mine, but I was so burned. Yeah, we're doing the big one now. Hey, Boxer. I was so burned when they stopped hiring me in the middle of last year, that I don't want to necessarily reattach myself to them, like rewarding them for that. If they need me, they need me. They can hire me for boards. They can do that. We can do that stuff. But I want the stuff that I produce, like through this, to be something that is, I'm like, that's different. We can, if you guys discover that I do this stuff because, word gets out and you want to talk about it, we can talk about it. But I'm not going to put it in front of them as a sort of like, take me back kind of thing. And it's like, no, I'm not doing that. So that is, that's the idea there. So we'll see if I live to regret it, but I don't want it to be like an ego thing. But in the past year, I've had to sort of learn to stand on my own a little bit, and I'm learning to do that, and it's better that way. Just hypothetically speaking, if I wanted to get a design for you, what would you charge? That's interesting. Well, right now I want to finish this. I don't think it wouldn't be exorbitant, but it wouldn't be like I see a lot of it's not a lot, but it's a common enough for me to see people putting out like commission sheets or something like that are like, I'll do like a $10 headshot, or whatever. I'm like, no. Well, it's not that I wouldn't do that. It's just the amount of time that I could give over for $10 would be pretty much not enough time to get anything done. And it's also sort of like, I want to do this in a way that like makes me feel like I'm doing it right. Not right, but elevating it a little bit. Trying something different. I don't know. I don't really know, but that said, it wouldn't have, I think we all are aware that I draw quickly and I don't make a lot of mistakes, so I'm pretty efficient. I don't know if an hourly basis is something that makes sense, but overall, I think you'd get your money's worth. I just don't know what what it would be. And actually, I've said this before too, where like at this stage, kind of like right now, kind of want this to be a little bit more on the like just doing it for fun kind of thing. There is something about doing artwork for money that is it's like that's literally what I do right now. I don't know if in attempting to do something different, it's productive for me to go back and do it again. Is it the fact that, you know, this is gratifying for me, and I think it's the fact that this is gratifying for me and I'm not getting paid is an indication that I actually do like art, but there is something about doing it for myself that feels good, something I haven't done in a while. Couldn't afford him, Sky. Anybody who wants to can contact my agent and book me any day, but it's expensive. Not having any real deadline might help. Yes, it would. So, like for instance, this is actually the real answer is that my artwork is free. It really is free. It's what you pay for is your place in line, and it's basically you pay to get bumped up in the queue. So if there isn't anything in the queue, it's like free, you know. But if there is a queue, it's like, okay, well then where's your place in line? And there you go. In the past, I've had people ask me about stuff, and they'd be like, oh, I really want a copy of this painting, for instance. And I'm like, yeah, it's cool, but I can't do it. They'd be like, oh, okay, no worries. But 6 months later, I'd give them the painting, and it would be awesome, and they love it. And it was about like them being okay with being patient about it. And it felt better to give it over in friendship as opposed to transactional. You know what I mean? I'm being romantic about it. Sky Shadow says, I make my own shit and have access to AI, but I'm always curious how other artists can take what I made and do it different. Interesting. Well, it's not, if you had an AI design and you wanted it un-AI'd, I'll tell you that isn't something I'm against. It's actually very common in my work for the directors to have developed some AI references, and then they say, here's the reference, you know, but we need it from a different angle and the AI can't reproduce it. That was kind of the job today. Not really, but the AI just wasn't able to give them what they needed. My thing wouldn't be a whole piece, single character, transparent background, basic as fucked. I mean, yeah, but you gotta make it interest me. Do they have large personalities? Sky, you can post it in the chat, or $1 million. Hold on, I gotta do it this way. $1 million. This is the bitch of it with this piece, is that all these bokoblins have they've got like splotchy, multicolored patterns to their fur or their backs, which is just like even more complexity to a very difficult, complex situation. To try and justify. I would want to see how you would do my character's shadow. Okay. Shadow just strikes me as a, what's that guy? The not in a derogatory way, but the Gengar Pokemon. It's kind of tricky. The let's let this be the thing that happens. Is right now you've planted the tiny seed. Gengar mixed with Cheshire Cat from Alice in Wonderland. All right, very good. See, that is one of those things where I'm like, I could see like it being prompted in an AI and like it coming out and looking amazing, you know, because just AI is good at that sort of thing in particular. And it's interesting because it sort of underscores why I probably wouldn't be like, I don't know if I'd be that interested in doing like, oh, I just need a one thing of this character. The reason is because like that is kind of like the domain of AI right now. And if I make it look awesome, people will be like, oh, it's just a single character piece. It's probably AI. The reason like this stuff is sort of appealing is because like AI can't do this sort of thing. AI can't get like this, like it could do like one of these guys on a bridge, but not like all of them overlapped with like if you look at this, there's all these little jokes going on. Like some of these guys are falling off, you know, it's the complexity is what makes it impossible for it to be AI, plus the love and the artistry. But it's like my pieces, especially if I wasn't charging an arm and a leg for them, it's like they'd have to be something that could work in my portfolio. And if it was something that looked like it was basically like I want to compete with AI by doing stuff that I know it can't be better than me at. And there's something about the type of thing that you were describing that is basically, I don't know, these days that's just sort of like the province of AI, unfortunately. Man, we got a flyer from the Los Angeles Zoo today, and like the back cover is like a zebra, and it's so AI. I mean, that was the tragic part. It was like, oh, this looks like AI, and I was like, well, it's probably AI. I don't know, it's like, it's not like it's got like 3 ears or something like that, the zebra. But I was just like, it just has that AI look, and I'm like, God damn it! And it's like, this is why I hate what's happened, is because it's now everything that's good is now suspect unless it's somehow got the perfect providence, or like you see someone do a speed paint of it or something like that. I can't have nice things anymore. I can't trust what I look at. It sucks. Gengar and Cheshire Cat mix. I can send you what AI spat out my design prompts if you want. It actually got decently close. Well, in this case, it's like I actually don't want, again, it's like I don't want to see the references necessarily, because that'll stick in my head. Unless you said, like, I like this, but I don't like the fact that this is AI. You know, I don't know. But it'll be something that happens like, think about it this way: if it's if it was something like probably one day in the future, I'll see you in the chat and I'll be like, oh, it was percolating in my brain and I came up with something and I want to sketch it out for you. And I would just do it then or something like that. And then you could see like a rough sketch and see if it was something that that sparked joy. Does this spark joy? It must spark joy. But yeah, helpful to not have a specific deadline. Because that's what went down with that guy who asked me for a painting, wanted to hire me for a painting. Is I turned him down. But then after I turned him down, I was like, maybe I could do that. And that's how it goes. So, because that's the problem with me, is like, once I start to see it and the challenge feels interesting in my head, I'm like, well, now it's interesting. I'm like, now I can't stop thinking about it and I need to get it done. So. Those toes in there. That would be cool. The emote I did myself, they look great. They have a cool chart effect too. The color as he blends in with dark mode of Twitch. But if you turn on light mode, some of it. Oh, okay. Interesting. Let me see the emotes that begin with the chat. That's interesting. I like that. Can I turn on light mode? How would I do that? Here we go. Let's see here. Chat settings. Maybe it's something I have to do on the site. Chat appearance. Readable colors. I'm not good at this. Font size. Nah, it's good. All right, I don't want to mess with stuff. Let me put all that away. Slow mode. Well, I like, I do like a challenge. Let's circle back. Let's table that for now. Let's table that. I'll make it my priority action item. Let's see here. Feels like a good start to some blue. It's like you can barely see it. But that's sort of the point, is the subtle effect of the blue light is what makes it so incredibly rich when it's complemented by the other light sources. Okay, let's get into, that's that one. Let's get in there with this guy now. Selecting little bokoblin butts. Feathering. Yes, no. Hopefully that's okay. Wand the butts. I mean, you can see his little pouchy effect here. His little bokoblins. I don't know if there's any canon female bokoblins, but I've got Big Mama bokoblin right here. She's like, what's that racket? Looking out super the boob goblins. Rocking some boob goblinage, and very disapproving. And then up here, we've got little babies looking super cute. Over here too. So it's like, this is big Pimp Daddy Bokoblin with his pimp cane. Oh, that's funny. All right. Back to the cheeks at hand. This will be a very interesting sort of, that's a get off my lawn stance if I ever seen it. Yes, it is. Yeah, yeah. You're ruining everything. Hybrid Mink is raiding in with a party of 12. Hi, welcome, raiders. Okay, I gotta do... What do I do here? I know how to do this. I know how to do this. You gotta go, but he says hi. Okay, shout out. How do I do this? Hey, Hybrid Mink. Is it with exclamation point? How do I do shout out? How do I... Out. No, come on. Oh, slash. Shout out. Shout out. Yeah, there it is. Shout out. Hybrid Mink. There we go. Isn't that a nice thing to say? Did I do that right? Alright. It's polite. I'm old. I'm learning Twitch. Or, yeah, learning Twitch. Yeah. Anyway, welcome. If anybody... did you come from an artist stream? Here, let me follow Hybrid Mink. I like to follow cool people who raid in. Yeah, it's an art stream. Alright, cool. I'll check this out. Wait a second. I might have actually... Yeah, I already follow you, I think. So, too late now. The best artist. All right. Well, that must be why I already followed him. Don't unfollow by accident. Well, I don't see a follow button, right? So that means I did follow them, right? I see a subscribe button. That's the option it gives me. Maybe I did it wrong. Yeah, I already followed. Huh. Cool. I don't think Link's raided you before. I remember the Zelda art. Oh, that's nice. Thank you. Sexter is quite the networked individual. This is very cool. All right, well, we're here for the sake of everybody who's new. Some people, I guess, have seen me before. All right, some of this older stuff is a little cringe. Okay, but I'm gonna do a little tour of our story so far, for the sake of the new artists who might be visiting. And so the sort of the purpose of this is to create sort of fan art of Zelda, but it's almost in the like a concept arty vein, and sort of teaching myself sort of cinematic lighting and color. And Zelda is, of course, a an amazing series, and I've been a fan since the beginning. So that's the finished version of that one. And let's see here. We've got... So this one is fun. This is Zelda and Link riding on the back of Epona from the world's largest Octorok. You can see there's lots of fun detail in these. I didn't draw them at a high enough resolution, but get in there. There's cool details, you know. Fucking rad. Then on to the next one. A lot of this is this is born of several things, but I think if we're all Zelda fans, we know that there's a Zelda movie coming out. Theoretically, a Zelda movie coming out. And when it does, will it be awesome or will it suck? That's my worry, is that it might suck. And if it's possible for it to be good, maybe it can be because, you know, they can find a way to honor source material. But like, how do you do that? And to be honest, I don't know. But I think they will make it look good. Super Mario turned out pretty good. They learned their lesson with the original movie. Although I'm a fan of the original movie. I had that movie on Laserdisc back in the day, where, you know, our dad did. I've been trying to focus on what are the cooler, more neglected enemies and ideas of Zelda that are maybe held over from even the first series. This one's good. It's not that great. Maybe the subjects themselves. This one is good. You can see my approach is the drawings start out super dark, and then I add in layers of light that sort of build up and become, over time, something that is really compelling. And this one got a lot of likes on social media. And so here's Wallmaster, Link v Wallmaster. Wallmaster's that giant severed hand that if you play the games, it'll drop on you and pull you out of levels. It's incredibly scary and frustrating. And so here we go. And I've been doing all of this live. Sorry, that's the finished one. All of these have been sort of conceived of as rough sketches. I did them late last year, starting out, and then decided, hell, I'll just color them. Pretend I'm a concept artist, pretend I knew what I'm doing. It's a fucking badass, look at this. It's incredible. I can't, like, it's weird for me to look at these all zoomed in. It's a little, like, I'm like, did I really add all this detail in? Because it's like, my process, the way I think of it, is like a lazy one. It's not a, it's something I do, you know, I do these streams for like an hour or two, and then I dip out, you know? But the cumulative effect can really yield some amazing results. And it's not rushed. I don't have deadlines for these. For once on these projects, I don't have deadlines, so this was the latest one that we finished. I finished and posted this the other day, and interestingly, I posted on Reddit, and it got like 100 likes. Sometimes they blow up, and sometimes they don't, and I don't know what to do to explain what makes something cool or not. I think a lot of that is just bad timing. You know, it was over the new year. I just wanted to push this out. Up there's that cool flying dragon. Posted on R Gaming. I think it was just the timing thing. I don't really care. You know, it's, I like the pieces and the, and what I'm learning, so that's okay. And so now we're here. That should be the last one. And now we're here. And I did bad. I didn't save out a new version, so I'm overwriting my precious original file. But that's okay. We'll do an iterative save now. I'll bring my little face back. And I paint all this in Corel Painter. That's how you know I'm old, is that I use a program that no one's ever heard of. But if that long-winded explanation didn't scare off everybody, feel free to, I don't know, crack jokes, talk shit, ask questions. But it's a fairly chill stream, and I'll go for about another hour. I don't typically do super long streams. And normally I stream more regularly in the early morning. I don't normally stream at night anymore because it sort of gets me into bad habits. Use PaintShop Pro. Oof. Another Corel victim. Do you still use it? You must have an old system. Or is that the latest version? I guess they still make it? The program I use, Painter, has not been meaningfully updated in over 2 years. This is Painter 2023. If they had been updating it with their regular, semi-regular pattern, it would have been in 2025. Right now. No, it'd be, and then this year they'd come out with 2026. And the fact that they've let so many versions lapse, just, I don't have any hope for the future for this program. You have a cracked version. Good. Don't worry about that. I mean, unless you're a professional artist, I don't see any reason to pay for drawing software. To sort of give an artistic explanation, if there are any artists still left in the chat. I don't really look at the view count. Maybe I should start doing that. It's in a tab. I don't know how to pull it up. But the first thing I do when I color is consider the minimal, more ambient light sources that are going to be sort of prevalent, yet however subtle. So in this case, because this scene, it's outdoors, it's in a forest, so there's going to be a lot of green in the scene, but right now the light I'm adding in is the light that's coming from behind camera that is essentially assuming that there's like a break in the trees in the forest canopy, and that reflection of the sky, the blue light of the sky, can come in through that opening and hit. That's what I'm trying to paint that effect of right now. Blue light from the sky coming in. And basically hitting a little bit everywhere. What does that look like? What's that effect? I'll do multiple passes like this because the thing I'm trying to avoid most is going too bright or too saturated too early. And I keep my light values in check by more or less rigidly applying a formula to the RGB values down here. So it's so looking at this, like the color of the Bokoblin's skin here being hit by blue light, like reflecting blue light, took us into even the magenta territory, and it's extremely neutral. It's almost gray. But I didn't even know it was there. I just pay attention to the RGB sliders and the values that they're at. Okay, right now we need to look at the, I'm gonna make it, sorry, we need to make a calculation of, oh come on. You still use MS Paint? Of course you do. How do I, oh, the feathering, that's the problem. Maybe. Ooh, come on. It's a little frustrating. I'm trying to select these colored dots here. Oh, that's why it's giving me shit right here. Aha, there we go. Because that's the color I wanted, was the pattern there. Hide that selection. Oh, maybe we feather it a little bit. Feather it to 5. See what that does. And if anybody's curious, we're listening to this wonderful Zelda and Chill playlist. Very indebted to the creators of this music. Sextra, thanks for facilitating the raid. That was cool. Sextra, you've been like my herald for these past few weeks. My wife's party went well. Oh my gosh, you don't know how the stress is. Just to fill in the group, my wife's birthday is New Year's Day. That's a challenging day to be responsible for making people show up and in the mood to party, because it is pretty much everybody is out of gas from New Year's Eve, right? So I'm lucky that we have good friends who do show up and make a big effort, make it happen, you know. Yeah, it went very well. There were, no dropouts. We had like 15 people come in. Everybody ready to have a good time. Here you can see the difference in and why it is difficult but necessary to, if you can, match or sort of be rigid with the formula in regard to the color and the amounts of light that are affecting that's affecting the scene, because especially on something like this where we've got like spotted skin, it's easy to color it wrong, especially for me, because I barely know what I'm doing anyway. And I certainly can't tell the difference between any of these colors. And here the selection tool didn't do me any favors. That's okay. That's mostly in shadow. Let's see about right here. You can see them brown, orange. To me, it's just like all this just looks gray. Different flavors of gray. My wife is like, what do you think of these paint swatches? And I'm like, I like the brown. She's like, none of these are brown. I'm like, why do you ask me these questions? And she knows how colorblind I am. But I'm like, all I see is like I don't know. I guess they were like sage green. I'm like, why do you ask me these questions? But we, because all of our friends came over for the birthday party / New Year's Day party. They were able to look at the swatches and come to a consensus, so that's important. Nemina? Don't know if I'll figure out how to pronounce that today. The background color is also a dark sage green. Yeah, this I can tell is green. Yeah, I mean, this is brown. I know this is brown, but the color of the blue light on top of it, it's just, it gets too neutral for me to see. Like where it's saturated, I do see it, but where it isn't, I don't. Also, it's helpful that I can have the green next to it to compare it to. But if it was in isolation, I might look at this as gray or even like a silver. It's tricky. Nimina, are you a artist too? Don't have the ability to do this well. No, that's not it. There we go. The way I add blue light to scenes is, oh, why is it doing that? That's crazy. Oh god, it doesn't work when I'm zoomed in. Great. All right, demo over. No, well, it's tricky because the sliders are so small, and I know some people are watching this on their phones, which is tricky. But by adding consistent values to the RGB sliders, basically the same amount to the R and the G and the B makes a brighter version of the same color, and then if you add more blue, it makes a lighter, bluer version of the same color. And that's the essentially the coloring process in a nutshell. And it helps me because it never really gets overly saturated. So there's always some runway left to land the plane at the end of the when the piece is finally coming together. Here, same deal. A little bit of blue, a little bit of light to everything, and then a little extra blue. And my first brush that I use is always it's a modified airbrush, basically. And I don't think there's going to be a lot of blue light getting on his little sack down there, so we can ignore that area. Here we do need some. And so this process will go on for a long time. just keep going at it. And interestingly, it's like it almost feels like it's slow, but it isn't. It's the same process that I used for all the other pieces, and I know I put those together faster than most artists would. It's an efficient method. It takes away all shading considerations. It's all about lighting now. We get to think like cinematographers. Or game devs. Thinking about where light would hit on these objects. If behind us in the open canopy of the trees, blue light from the sky could come in and hit. Now here, I've over-indexed too much. Need to claim some of that back. Too much there. This part is upward facing, so it definitely is going to get some. But this plane is not exactly facing directly behind camera, so can't get too much. Still, a little bit won't hurt. Okay. On to the next bit. It's hard to see, but this guy is charging in with just a big heavy spoon. This guy's got a big ass, let's see here. This guy's charging in with just his fists. This guy's got a big club. This guy's got a world's biggest spoon. Looks like this guy's got a club with a rock strung to the end of it. This guy, I can't tell. Then in the back here, we've got all these guys with clubs. Link is like, what the fuck? Zelda's over here going for a Indiana Jones ride as Link cuts the bridge. And then all these other guys are like, wow. No. Because down here, there's all these fucking spikes. I was like, I'll make it interesting. I have no idea if the bokoblins actually like live in societies like this. That's a bit of a stretch, right? It's not canon, I'm sure, but I want to make it interesting. Okay. Selecting for that color on this guy. Let's get in here. Adding very reasonable amounts of blue light. Here and here. Wonder if everybody's asleep or has left. It actually doesn't affect me either way. It was just chilling. That's good. I mean, I'm trying to think of only because it's like, especially in this piece, it's just going to be literally this for probably the next 3 streams. I mean, when you think about it, I'm actually making good progress, so it's not a bad thing. It's a very complex scene. And it's so funny because there's this great quote from I think if I recall, the former CEO slash founder-ish person of Twitter, Jack Doherty, had this quote that I have no idea. Like, well, the quote is good, even if what he might have been using it to explain, or I don't know if it was like a smart quote because he said it, but I think about it all the time, where it's audiences admire complexity but reward simplicity, and it's like, yeah, I can work on a piece and have 1,000 different moving parts, but that won't necessarily translate to tons of internet clout or admiration of the masses or anything like that. Not necessarily. I mean, it's not like a 1-to-1 equation or anything like that. It's I'm just realizing it's like, I want to get this complex one done, and then I'll probably avoid the complex pieces for a while, because for one thing, how am I ever going to top, especially after the one with the mountain and the spiders and the lava and stuff, like that one is insanely complex, and now I'm doing this one and it's probably even more complex, and it's they won't necessarily increase the visibility or the draw. I mean, it may, but I am fairly certain I could get more followers by just drawing Zelda fan service art. But that isn't a way that I want to do things, at least not starting out. I'd rather sort of prove myself this way. First off, prove to myself that I can do it, and then it'll be done. Then I'll have it there. It'll be done, and then I can think about other stuff. other approaches. I love this track. Somebody appreciated the effort. Appreciates the effort. I really like this piece. Oh, thank you. This, I think, will, like, I'm aware. So this will do better for a few reasons, I think. I think people really sort of adore these little bokoblin bad guys. And then this one has Zelda in it. This one has Zelda in it. And this one has bokoblin cleavage. So, you know, I'll find a way to make it awesome. Yeah, the large spoon. It's like the details in this will be rewarding. The other one was like, okay, you can see a spider in the background and it's just a spider. Here, you can like zoom in and like you'll see that like these guys are charging and then this one's tripping and then another one fell. So he's like falling to his death. So there's like a comedic, there's a lot of comedy to this scene, which is also, you know, something I'd like to think I'm decent at. Oh, here, let me do the smart thing. Love the bokoblins. Let me see here. Okay, here we go. All social media is toxic, but when I post my outputs, I put them at these places. And if you are a YouTube enthusiast as well, I upload stuff to YouTube. I am actually working on a cool process video for the one with the ghost, the Linkfy Guinea. It's a lot of work to actually make videos. So I don't know how people find time. A lot more work than just sort of winging it on a live stream. But I'll have that ready before too long. Really tricky to light these patterns, but we gotta try. Yeah, interesting. It's working. It's working. This one got a little blotchy, but that's the fault of the darn color, or the lasso tool thing. Magic wand failed me a little bit, but No one will know. Okay, on to the next one. Yeah, this guy's got a big old rock thing. Rock on a stick. Anyway, the process video will be about 15 minutes long. I hope that's neither too long or too short. It's my first processy video thing. And it's interesting to do video editing after something I haven't done in 20 years. Or at least it feels that way. I used to be a Final Cut guy, and now all that is so weird and stupid. And so I'm trying out DaVinci Resolve. And that's cool because it's free and it seems to work. But every damn thing is in a different place than where I would intuitively remember it to be. So it really is like learning a little bit from zero, just starting from scratch, which is it's fine. I'll get there. But what I should do is just pirate Final Cut Pro. But the thing is, Final Cut, like, because I've owned earlier versions of Final Cut, but even if the software would run, it's like all that stuff is it's like incredibly out of date now. Like the codecs and the video formats, like I don't even know if they, like, I have to drag myself into the modern age with this. Other people are using it. I do want to eventually drop using Painter and Photoshop and switch to Krita, if that's how it's pronounced. I've got it downloaded. I'm ready to give it an enthusiastic try, if I can. Okay. Applying too much blue light, so these need to be lit, but not brighter than the skin. Or like that. Tomorrow, we're going to do something fun, provided I don't get booked. The plan is for us to, because our kids are on winter break from school, so everything is, yeah, so we're going to do something very fun tomorrow, and it's like a surprise, but my kids, essentially my daughter's best friend, you know, they've been like best friends basically since preschool, and they go to different schools now, so we don't see them all the time, but we do make efforts to get together fairly regularly. And we're going to, later in the day, the afternoon, we're going to take our kids to Universal Studios, and their family is going to be there too, and it's a surprise. So our kids are basically going to see their very good friends at a theme park, and it's all coordinated via us, the parents, being awesome. A lot of it's an extreme way to spoil your children, but I don't think I'll regret it. It'll be a good plan. They'll probably complain until they see their friends. They'll be like, we don't want to go. We just want to sit down and watch TV. But we'll march their butts out there and make sure they have a good time. Now there's a chance, that's a slim one at this point, but there is a chance I get booked tomorrow. And if I do, then that kind of would suck, because it wouldn't suck because, you know, I want to work, I need the money, but I also don't want to miss out on a cool experience with my kids, and that would pretty much do it. But I'll console myself, and the reality is like, we do fun stuff with them all the time, so they'll still go. They'll go with my wife and have a good time. I may miss it, but that's okay. So far, though, the plan looks like it can happen. There's going to be, it'll be a challenge to kind of, it's the same thing with the one we just finished, like all this complexity, to make it stand out and read so that it doesn't, they don't just all step on each other's toes. We'll have to find different ways of getting these silhouettes to read clearly. And we'll bust out all of our special tips and tricks, but you can imagine the complexity. It's like, we're going to need all the lighting effects and atmosphere and the dust getting kicked up and everything to help this stuff actually stand out and look like $1 million and not just like it took a long time. We're gonna go for another half hour. I think I will color in this little decorative skull right here with some blue light, because there it is, and if I don't, I might forget it. Check something. Yeah. Okay, cool. A little bit brighter and bluer. kind of animal this skull belongs to, but doesn't seem so far-fetched that there might be a ram. Some sort of ram animal in the kingdom of Hyrule. All right, now look at this guy. Wow, I thought this would... I mean, it's good progress, and it's not like it's... I'm sure it's boring to watch, but it's not like it's pulling teeth for me. After this stream, I will reward myself with a nice plate of made tacos. Shoot. I think I did a decent job with the anatomy on these guys. Little butts. Good night, Boxer. Everybody, Boxer is my brother in real life. IRL. And he's a great streamer of cool game content, so you can give him a follow if you want. Thanks, man. See you next week. Now we do... Love this track. Adding light overall, and then blue, and then painting in there. Yeah, he's probably gone. It's all good. Normally he says, be right back, and then he never comes back. But in a good way, in a good way. He's like, I'll be right back. And then he's like, he's just like gone. He's like asleep. Okay, and I don't know if it's quite to the degree that it's appreciable, but with all these guys now, you can kind of see them more or less feeling like they're being lit by a very dim blue light source coming from behind camera compared to everything else. That might be easier to appreciate if we go here, zoom in a little bit, and step through. Yeah. It's like we're turning on a light, right? Boom. And let's keep going. We've still got a little time left. Something tricky. Okay, look, what's next in here? Under mob's lines. Oh, those guys. Yeah, let's get to it. Why not? This won't take too long. There's an issue here with the this giant moblin. He's going to be tricky because I did a big boo-boo when I was drawing him, and it only helped me. It's because it helped me to sort of like feel the anatomy, to do it with shading. But the problem is shading is not really compatible with this lighting process because it's all about adding light. So if you're adding light onto something that's already been darkened by shade, but not in a controlled way, it's like by shading it, I was making lighting decisions before I was making lighting decisions, and that's not kosher for the purity. The purity of my process is contaminated by the foolishness of adding shading when I didn't know what I was doing. But also, I didn't know that I was going to color these when I inked this a long time ago. So I forgive myself, but we still have to sort it out. Yeah, I better just toss it away. Start from scratch. Okay. One thing I do wonder if I should have done is try to work at a higher resolution to start with. But like these are already pretty darn big, and when I started this project, I was using an older computer, and it didn't handle large files very well compared to now. And even this one doesn't handle large files very well. And additionally, like streaming on top of it, it probably would have been too much to assume that everything would just be hunky-dory. It's not like I maxed out my RAM on this system, or could have afforded to if I wanted to, but for our purposes, this is fine, but it is a little bit like, this is pixely stuff, like for me. But I don't care. The lighting is agnostic to the pixel situation. This is the first Moblin face that we've seen facing us. The rest of them were all backs, right? And here. Right now, the forms are being rendered in with the airbrush. And it's just a good way of covering my bases more broadly and making sure that I don't skip ahead to like the detail stuff. But there will be a phase coming up where I take it a little bit further. Same situation overall. Brighter, adding blue, but with a different brush, I add in more like highlighting details, like this. And then we'll have an instant kind of effect of feeling more 3D, even on these smaller forms. Now, this is getting ahead, but it's just a quick little demo-y thing. I can't go too far with the because they're sort of furry creatures. They can definitely have some highlights, like a horse covered in hair, but it's also shiny, right? Or can be shiny, you know, depending on the breed. But I don't think these guys are quite like horses. Well, we'll sort it out, but that's just a little sample of the stuff to come. Now here, whenever I watch artists, I just kind of look at my old doodles from grade school. Art really does require a lot of practice and understanding. Truly a beautiful craft. Are you not an artist? Are you an artist? I mean, you don't have to disclose, but either way, I'm honored, but the part of me wonders what kind of appeal the streams have for people who are not necessarily artists. You know, no, I'm a terrible artist, however I like to doodle. Not saying you'll be up first thing in the morning tomorrow, but tomorrow I'm planning on getting up early to do a stream to kick off a side project that I'm doing, which is going to be a sort of a D&D group commission. I was talking about this at the top of my stream, but one of my childhood friends, they finished up their D&D campaign. They want to commission a piece of art to sort of commemorate finishing it, and I'm going to do it in the format of a sort of a sword and sorcery movie poster. So you can imagine like something in the vein of like a Lord of the Rings type poster where it's like face, maybe like a wide version of like a monster somehow. Yeah, it'll be epic, but it'll also sort of like, I want to do it in a way that presents an interesting challenge to me, exactly like a movie poster actually, but not being like it's a movie, but like, you know, the composition will feel like it is honoring their campaign in a way that is cinematic. That's where I'm trying to sort of place my bet, right, with the artistry. Well, so tomorrow is, and it's something I've never done, so I'd like to kick that off. And so tomorrow, because it makes sense for me to do this, is tomorrow I'll be doing like little sketch studies of their characters, because they have, did I download these things yet? Hold on. I should have made a yeah, it doesn't even look like I made a project folder for it. Give me 2 seconds. I'll show a fun. Here we are. There we are. Okay, not that one. Here we go. So this is just like a for example, but I guess they used a program, what's it called? Hero Forge, yeah, Hero Forge, which has, I guess, the ability to create interesting, you can make 3D versions of your characters, right? So all of their D&D characters have these cool references that and you know, of course, these are stylized. So this is handy for me to know what they look like, but this is not a cinematic rendering or representation. So I can take this and I can, you know, apply what I know. Because I am I'm a professional storyboard artist in Los Angeles, so I mostly work in commercials, but occasionally I work on like video game trailers, and even commercials these days are quite cinematic. So and the problem is when I work on cool projects for like video game trailers, they always want to do really lame things, like, you know, they'll I mean, I can't say too much, but they instead of showing a cool thing happening, they'll be like, okay, it'll cost too much for us to show it happening. So instead of showing it happening, we want you to storyboard 2 people talking about how it happened after it happened. And I'm like, are you kidding me? It's like, okay, so we're not going to show the incredible escape from prison sequence. We're going to show boy, that was a difficult escape from the prison conversation after the fact. And pretty much every project is like that these days. So I've been stewing for many years in my head, wishing that I ran the zoo. You love my room light? Oh, that's nice to say. Nothing's off topic here. Everything is random. We throw some pretty wild Halloween parties, so this is now the Halloween off season, of course, so I'm like, well, might as well put these to use, right? usually I have like lights here too, not really on me, but they add a lot of luminosity to the scene. I don't know if here, if I make this bright here, that's a little bit brighter now. It's just opening an email. I've large computer monitor here. I'm drawing on a big computer monitor here. My old iPad is actually the camera now. I love Halloween, however, I have too many friends into Halloween or the macabre for it to pass in one day. A benefit, but also sort of a curse. Yeah. Okay, so it's I mean, we decorate for Halloween like starting in September, and it's very much an ordeal. We've got all these skeletons, and over the years I've really learned to just over-index on the lighting as opposed to everything else. Lighting does so much of the heavy lifting in a scene. It's like if you want to make a wall spooky, you know, you don't have to hang up a bunch of cobwebs on it. Just shine a cool light on it, and it's like, whoa, cool. I both get, but cannot fathom having two monitors. I'm too pea-brained to play with two monitors effectively. Not in the least. I'm sure the with being a digital artist, I'm often, you know, they're like, okay, here's the reference, and now we need you to draw from this reference, and you know, so I'll have an image up here that I can look at, and then down here I'll draw it, and then over here I'll have like a TV show playing most of the time. Takes me a bit to get the handle of things, but once I got it, I got it. I feel like I feel like I'm more productive with just one computer screen, but I can't help it where, you know, I don't want to be a sucker. I'm gonna work from home. I'm gonna take advantage and watch TV at the same time. What art pad do you use, by the way? A friend of mine uses a lot of Wacom. Yeah, I have a big, it's not touch sensitive, but it's a Wacom Pro Cintiq 24 inch something. It's probably 7 years old now, but it's still big and impressive. It's large. It's like a drafting table, which is good for posture. I'm not saying I have good posture, but I don't typically have a lot of issues with drawing related pains. All right, we're gonna do a little, not a speed run, but a quick little blob through. Look at this. This is a big mess. I don't think I can. I'm gonna have to do this the hard way. It's not the hard way. It'll be the easy way. But one thing I'll have to do is, instead of coloring on top of the color layer, I'm going to color on top of the line layer. It'll be fine. I think. I am going to try and be done at midnight, so that's just in a minute or so, but it's like this. And initially, like when I first started adding the blue light colors. They all looked wrong. But once you reach a critical threshold and you see how the blue light effect starts working with itself, it stops looking weird and it starts looking awesome. We're really only applying light to the areas where, essentially, if we imagined that behind our heads there was a big blue diffused light pointing at the scene, where would it be most intense? It doesn't have to be perfect. I know it looks like I'm probably hitting it all perfectly, but I'm being somewhat sloppy with it. Doesn't need to be crazy. Namina, are you a gamer? Lynn is ripped. I think I'm barbaric there. I'll look. Yeah, I'm trying to. So I haven't played Tears of the Kingdom or Breath of the Wild. I do like the aesthetic of those games. It's not like I have a problem with them, but I don't. For me, the Twilight Princess or Ocarina of Time, like that's the aesthetic I like the best, and I really would like to see. I'm not the only one sort of having this opinion. Like Zelda could work in like a Souls, whatever, like a Souls aesthetic, like Dark Souls or Soulsborne, or I don't know what they're all called. I don't play the games, my brother does, but I'm not really a gamer anymore, although, obviously I was at one point in my life a big Zelda fan. Really like Stardew Valley. Oh, that's cool. I mean, I don't even know what that's about. I just keep hearing about it. Whatever games my brothers drag me into. My hobby is more studying human brain chemistry and such as well, like painting miniatures. Oh, that's cool. And you don't play Warhammer, do you? It's okay if you do or don't. It's just funny. Like painting miniatures, all I think about is like Games Workshop. But I know actually a lot of D&D groups have miniatures and stuff. And that's kind of what I'm doing right now. Painting miniatures. Stardew is like a farming romance game. Yeah, that's what I think I picked up on. It sounds cozy. I do play a bit. I don't do a lot of tabletop. Mostly just like to collect, I guess. Yeah. Sometimes the fun is in the craft of the assembling and painting the models, right? I've recently assembled a bunch of Hedonites, but I just think this one mini called Glutos or something is a silly fat guy. And yeah, this guy's ripped. Color of his fur is changing towards the tip of his nose, which I like. We have to make sure it's reflected here. And there it is. A little bit better. I'm a fan of the muscular design of these guys, for sure. The I think it's like I don't know if you've played like Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom, but like something about like the design of this Moblin and the Bokoblins and the a lot of the other characters, I'm like, wow, that's awesome. But then it's sort of lit and sort of treated in a way that almost felt like, well, it's like toon shaded a little bit too much. More than I'd prefer. It didn't have to be like Link is very sort of soft looking, in my opinion, in those titles. Zelda 2, obviously. I've not played either. I just enjoy the art of it. Yeah, I've seen so many clips as well of video game music, but rarely actually play the games the music is from. Like Mega Man, love the music, never really played. There's an idea for this project, like overall with this project, that after I do enough Zelda stuff and get, feel like I've done my Zelda phase, that'll move on to other, just other things that I'm a fan of, even if I've not played them. And I've played some Mega Man, of course. But I really loved the idea of Mega Man more than anything. I always found the game itself to be too challenging for my young, unskilled self. But I loved reading the Nintendo Power instruction manuals and the hints, and it would just spark ideas in my head about it'd be so cool. The game as I imagined it was far more interesting than the game as it actually was. And so many things were like that for me as a kid. Yeah. Nintendo Powers. The Nintendo Powers, like if you had a good imagination, it was just as good as having the games themselves, if not better, because the games themselves were often so hard they were unplayable, or certainly unbeatable. Especially at my age, I was like 5 years old, I guess, when we had a Nintendo. Ain't no way I'm beating anything at that age. Still have those player guides too, vintage shit. So, and I'm serious about this. The player's guide for Ninja Gaiden. I remember loving that because it had the comic. There was like a comic like in the chapters, and they had all this great. It was like reading a cool. It was like a mini version, but they had an amazing illustrator putting together this saga that like felt so real. And then then the actual video game tips and tricks were also in it, sort of spoiling the process. But that stuff left an indelible impression in my brain, and gosh darn it, I want to do something about it. Get those forces out, sort of exercise those demons a little bit. So I want to do, and even if it's just one piece, like that's enough, just to say I did it. But like something for Ninja Gaiden, and then Metroid, Mega Man would be cool. But I'd probably do Ninja Gaiden and Metroid and maybe some Street Fighter. Street Fighter 2. Love to do some of that. There's worse ways to keep your mind occupied than doing fan art of cool games, right? But like in the retro sense, so I'm talking about like almost thinking about it not in the modern forms, because I don't really play games anymore, but just trying to remember and thinking about those games as I experience them in my imagination many moons ago. Oh yeah, Vega. Yeah, Guile was my favorite. Most definitely. It was Guile. I loved the ones that had cool music, and Guile had like the coolest music. In my opinion. Like the Harrier jet, or you know, whatever it was in the, not the Harrier jet, but it was like a cool fighter airplane in the background. Absolute peak video games. It's so funny because people complain about video games being expensive. I remember saving up money and going, like my mom had to drive me. We went to the Capcom store at the mall. And I remember, because it was a lot of money, in like 1992 or whenever it came out, Street Fighter 2 cost $72 for that game cartridge. And you know what video games cost right now? It's like $72. It's funny that like, I'm like, really? Same price, huh? But I guess now, at least you don't have to ship them around. Maybe that's a reason they might charge less. Although I feel like they don't charge less. And actually back then, you were paying for like essentially a perfect product. These days, the release is like the beta, and if it's playable to full satisfaction, that's a rarity. At least it feels like it is that way. I remember when games just sort of worked. Yeah, I've always wondered about like, hey, I remember that too. You know, we didn't. The bugs or exploits, they just stayed in the game. Of course they did. How else would? What other option would there be? Okay, so this is kind of cool. I'm not saying I did a perfect application on this, but the because it is a little bit janked because I painted it on top of the black lines, but we can turn off and on the effect of the blue light on this character. And it's so subtle. It's like quite dim. But it's not about, at this stage, I can do, sorry, let me do a quick This will be kind of spoilery, but if we just take this little scene here, this guy in the butts. Actually, let's do something like this. We'll do a fun little experiment. So that little selection of area, we can apply a little bit of brightness contrast tweak. And you can see a little bit more how down the road, even just the small amounts of blue light that we've added, see, it's not the final version. It's what we're adding is like information to the relationships of light. So later on, when all the light information is in the right proportion, then we can tweak it so that the brightness is exposed to the way that is like gets the maximum impact and variety. Because the way this is working is it's like these images as we develop them, it's like a underdeveloped photograph. So adding in the information is there, but the important thing is to not go overboard where it's overexposed, because then you're just losing important information. As long as the information is there and it's sort of safe because it's not exploded past thresholds that are uncomfortable, then we can work with it and tweak it and get all those subtleties in there. So by starting subtle and then developing up into layers and then exposing it at the last moment to make it look amazing, we can control for, you know, getting all those crazy ranges of tones and details that will really make it amazing. So, okay, well, we went a little over time, but this has been a fun one. I appreciate the company. All right, I'm going to do one of my cringe. So I'm going to stop the stream in a second. I hesitate to cut it, but it's a little past midnight for me. I'm going to click here, give it the 50-50 split. Alrighty, so here we are. I'll do a little reaction. It's so dim, but I'll brighten it up in my thumbnail thing, and I'll just give it the Dr. Evil. $1 million. $1 billion. So that'll be fun. You know, the light does look pretty good there. I'll probably just leave it all there. All right, well, thanks so much. This was a fun, productive stream. Kicking off the new year with getting the right habits, doing all the right things, just jumping right back into the art habit. So, all right, well, I appreciate it, everybody who is listening, the new people in chat, and all the regulars. It's great to see you. I hope everybody had a good 2024. Best wishes for 2025, and we are going to really kick ass this year. That's what's going to happen. We're about to blow up. All right. I'm going to catch you all next time. Adios.